I'm calling Adobe Capture the Swiss Army knife of mobile apps because there's so many smaller parts to this Adobe Capture that does all sorts of different things. So first, how do you get Adobe Capture? Well, you need either a free or a paid Creative Cloud membership. And if you're not already a Creative Cloud member, you can sign up for the free CC membership at creativecloud.adobe.com. And then you'll be able to download Adobe Capture. So what does Capture work on? Well, obviously the iPhone, the iPad, the iPad Pro, Android phones, Android tablets, and Chromebooks. It works just about anything on any of the mobile devices. And basically, like we saw just a moment ago, you'll have a menu of the Adobe mobile apps, and you can see the black and white CA icon, which is Adobe Capture. So now you've got Adobe Capture. What'll it do? Well, it'll let you turn images into vector shapes. You can create color themes. You can bring up a photo and select colors from that photo, and it will make a color theme for you. You can also bring up a photo and you can capture the colors in that photo and use it as a LUT. And a LUT is a color correction lookup table that you can use in other Adobe apps. So for example, you could take this sunrise picture and then you could open a video in Premiere Pro and change the colors to match the colors in this still picture. You can also create gradients. You can click on two colors in an image and it will make a gradient. And we'll go into the details in all of this next time. You can make patterns out of anything you can point your camera at, flowers to cloth patterns and so on. You can also, if somebody hands you a business card and says, can you match this type? You can scan it with Adobe Capture, and then it will look through the Adobe type collection and get as close as it can to match the type. Make 3D textures. Those 3D textures you can use in Adobe Dimension, where you can actually put cloth textures or chrome textures or whatever onto 3D objects. You can also take a photo, either take it with your camera or take it off your camera roll, and you could turn it into paint brushes, and you have all hundreds of options with those brushes. If you've ever used brushes before, you can set all sorts of things, the scatter and the repeat and so on. Again, all of these things we'll go into at our next meeting. So you've made an asset. What do you do with it? Well, they're automatically saved to your Creative Cloud library. And then those libraries are synced to the other mobile apps and to your desktop applications. Which ones? Well, the desktop, you can use these apps from your Creative Cloud library. You can use these assets in these apps: Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, After Effects, or Dreamweaver. And on your mobile device can be Illustrator Draw, Photoshop Sketch, or Adobe Fresco. And you can see here the fact that the color themes that you make, look at all the programs you can bring them over into. InDesign, After Effects, Muse, Animate, all of those. The color gradients can be used in Illustrator or Adobe XD, or you can import them into Photoshop and use the color gradients there. Shapes that you create, the shapes can, they're actually vector shapes that you create simply by taking a picture of something with your camera. And that obviously vector shapes can go into Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Premiere Pro, Animate, Illustrator, Draw, Photoshop Sketch. The brushes you make can be used in all of these other items here: Illustrator, Photoshop, etc. Anywhere where you've got brushes. The type, once you find the type that matches what you've been looking for in Design, Illustrator, Photoshop, XD. Those 3D materials, as I mentioned before, are used in Adobe Dimension, which is a 3D program. You can actually, with Adobe Dimension, be able to put labels on packaging and so on, as well as creating all sorts of textures on three-dimensional objects. And when you come up with patterns, and that's one of the fun parts of the mobile app, you can use those in Photoshop and in Illustrator. So with all of those things that it can do, obviously, we haven't gone into them in any kind of depth, but that's what the next program is supposed to be. In the July SAWS meeting, we'll go into the details. We'll create assets, and we'll show you how you use them in other applications and go into each of the features in Adobe Create. So invite you to come back next month, join us then, and we will go deeper into Adobe Create.